right. Make sure I turn my mic on. Okay, I did. Welcome in, everyone. We are Spiritual Physique one-on-one series continuing today with an advanced asana practice. So we have Jen back here on her mat. You will see as you practice along with her today, she's got a unique combination of, I'd say, stretchy and strength. And so it makes for a really special practice. So join us back of your mat, just a comfortable, easy seated pose when you're ready. We'll close our eyes, start to just take some deep breaths and shift into the energy on your mat here. Nice. So we'll just start to bring awareness into the body through the breath as we follow the inhales and the exhales in and out of the body. It's like it gives you a path to follow. So if you allow the breath to usher you in, coming into the body, dropping out of the mind space and anything that you've been doing for this day up until this point, allowing yourself to create this time just for you. Long and tall through the spine. Just take a quick scan of the body, starting at the top of the head, noticing, can you connect to the energy in your hair? Each strand of hair on your head, bring awareness to that energy. And once you begin to feel that, let that tingling energy sensation come down the head, the face, allowing your shoulders to drop away from the ears. And as it comes down and around the chest, the ribs, the back, the arms, like a spiral, you feel it travel all the way down the belly to the hips. And then follow that path down the legs, the whole length, front and back, all the way down to the ankles, the feet, and the toes. Beautiful. Such a nice time carving out of your day to tune inward and give yourself this gift. If you practice with a mantra or an intention, this is a great time to call that into your energy. And sometimes if you're not quite sure, just allowing yourself to be open and just saying, I am open to receive. Just allow the mantra to find you throughout your practice. We'll deepen the breath just a few more times. Nice. Nice, beautiful breath. We'll crawl forward to a tabletop, finding hands and knees as you're ready. Moving with cat-cows as the breath starts to stretch into the belly, the spinal muscles. Nice, maybe rocking forward and back, noticing how the wrists are feeling as they begin to support some body weight. We tend to rely so much on our wrists. And those little joints weren't really designed to hold much of our weight. So giving them a little bit of extra love here at the beginning. Coming into stillness when you're ready, and tabletop, sliding the knees together. We'll take that right knee out to the right. Good. Evening out the weight in both hands, taking a moment to settle. Yeah. We'll take 2 more rounds of breath. And then we'll transition this knee lift into circles for the hip. So either direction doesn't matter. Yeah, we'll just begin one way. And notice how the hip is feeling. Notice if the breath is flowing in a way that the body is moving. Yeah, good. Engaging cat through the upper back here and then reversing our circle as soon as you're ready. Beautiful. Oftentimes, that second direction is the more challenging one. Our body naturally tends to take that easier route first. Good. All right. Extending right leg long back behind, floating hip height. Beautiful. Left arm comes forward, gaze is down when you're ready. So, our first opportunity to pull navel towards spine, even as we engage through the scapulas. Yeah. And you'll notice throughout our practice here, Jen will automatically just kind of do this. She's been practicing for so long. I'll try to say the cues, but you likely will see it happen in her body before I even say it. All right, so let's reach along, point those toes, taking one more deep inhale, and exhale, knee and elbow in together. Yes, good. Three more. Inhale to lengthen, and exhale to squeeze. Nice. Two more. Good. Last one, and we'll stretch it out. Good. So let's lengthen leg back, left hand down. Good. Drop the toes, roll the heel down. Let's kickstand that leg. Your right, left leg, excuse me. Yeah. Yeah. Nice. So just a nice modified side plank to give ourselves a nice stretch. Good. So right arm can be straight up towards the sky here to feel that nice length and lift all the way from that left planted hand, or right arm can reach overhead as a nice long extension of side body, and the stretch comes from the outside edge. Right? You can see that Jen's foot is connected here to the earth all the way up through her fingertips. So beautiful. Two more rounds of breath. Good. And then we'll roll down with that right hand. And let's come into a high plank to lift that left knee, give it a little bit of a break, and just take a few rounds of breath here. So our second opportunity to connect it to the core. I always like to say inviting it to the party. So pulling navel towards spine, but then side bodies, back body as well. Your core wraps all the way around. Really lifting these hips. See, they're exactly at shoulder height. That's what we aim for. One more round of breath. Let's hinge forward. Lower the knees, bend the elbows, lower the body. Let's take a baby cobra, hovering the hands just so that we can circle out those wrists. Yeah, give them a little bit of love if you'd like. Yeah. Good. Nice. So with the nose pointing down and the tops of the feet pressing down, activating the quads, we lift just a little higher with the heart. Yes. And then we'll roll down on an exhale. Nice. Let's press up using the triceps, hands and knees, tuck toes or roll over, down dog, hips back and all the way up. Let's walk it out and do all the things that make our down dog feel really yummy the first time we come in. So maybe those deep knee bends, maybe you like to sway the hips. There's so much available here. This is our first inversion as well. The head is below the heart. It doesn't have to be something fancy like a handstand, right? This is definitely an inversion. Beautiful. So the heels are reaching towards the earth, whether they touch or not, never matters. It's the length, the elongation through the back side of the legs. Nice. Two more rounds of breath. We're going to walk those hands back to the feet, bending the knees. Feet are wide, forward fold. Uttanasana at the back of the mat. Taking any movement or any stillness that would feel really good here. Noticing if there's a part of the body that would appreciate some extra love today with our breath. Nice. And let's inhale to a halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana when you're ready. Good. We'll exhale and stay here. Nice. So much like in our plank here, looking for shoulders and hips to be same height, and this nice elongation, we'll just roll the weight forward out of the heels just a bit. Yeah, and just take two more rounds of breath. We come into halfway lift as a transition, but it's definitely not a resting posture, engaging through the core as well. And on that second exhale, let's fold to the earth. Inhale, let's rise, sweep the arms out and all the way up. Lift your gaze. Exhale, cactus the arms, shift the hips and pelvis forward. Yes, inhale, tall, look up. Exhale, float to the earth all the way down. One more halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, hands down, walk them forward. High plank once again. Good. So let's take a moment here, walk the feet close together, side by side. Good. We'll lift just that right leg off the mat. Yeah, just take 2 rounds of breath. Noticing how that changes our muscles, right? Where we are engaging to support ourselves. We'll float it down on the exhale. The left leg to lift, evening out the weight in both hands. Beautiful. So not much changed or shifted in her body, right? That second exhale, foot comes down. Let's lower the knees, come into that tabletop. Take a few cat-cows before we come to the other side hip. Letting the breath move your cat-cows maybe in a different way than it typically does. Yeah, I love side to side and getting the head involved for the neck. And then only when you're ready, we'll come into stillness in that tabletop. And we'll float that left knee out to the left. Aiming once again for hip height, but it may get there, it may not. If that means that it compromises the stability through the hands and all the weight is over in that right hand, then just bring it back over to the left a little bit. 2 more rounds of breath. Can it be as deep and free even as we are engaging here and starting to work? All right, let's transition into hip circles here. Knee is bent. Nice. So now the opposite side of the body, we get to explore how this hip is feeling. And just allowing the circle to switch directions as you're ready. Yeah. Nice. And we'll just lengthen that left leg back as that breath cycle. Beautiful. All right. Leg floats, right arm comes forward. We find that stability to balance as we engage all of those stabilizer muscles here. Yeah, just deepening the breath. Beautiful. One more deep, complete round. And then let's begin to move. Point those toes, bend knee to nose and elbow in as well. Beautiful. Nice. Inhale to lengthen, always. Exhale to compress. Beautiful. 3 more. In yoga, anything that is lengthening from our center line here is an inhale. And when we come back in is the exhale. So nice. Beautiful. Last one. And we'll transition into that modified side plank. Really just a nice yummy stretch when you're ready. So toes down. Yeah. Heel down. Yeah. Beautiful. So now as we're stretching through this left side body, just kind of noticing maybe it feels different than the right side. I know my 2 sides always feel different, right? Maybe it feels the best to reach for the sky with these fingers or elongate the arm overhead and continue this stretch all the way from the foot to the fingers. 2 more rounds of breath. Noticing how much weight is in that right wrist. Nice. And then we'll roll down, knee and hand. And this time, let's come down to elbows and forearms before we step it back for a forearm plank. Give those wrists a break. Nice. Good. So a couple deep rounds of breath here. Oftentimes a forearm plank can be even more challenging than a high plank. So just noticing what's here. Can the breath help to quiet the thoughts, staying in the posture? We've got just 2 more rounds of breath. Yeah, the next inhale, let's lower the knees and come into Bhujangasana, Cobra. Maybe as you come down to the mat, maybe a little bit higher, mid Cobra. Notice how the lower back is feeling. Beautiful. Good. We work to widen through the chest here, roll the shoulders as we allow the hips and the lower back to sink. We've got just 2 more rounds of breath. Good. Let's find a transition to press up and back to downward facing dog. Good. Second time we're here, just noticing. Starts to feel better and better as the body starts to warm and the breath starts to flow. And let's come up onto the toes really high. Bend those knees deeply. Good. Shift the hips back, the heart for the thighs, and then straighten the legs. Come back a little deeper. Good. Let's just do it one more time. Onto the toes. Inhale. Knees bend deeply, so chest for thighs. Yeah, shift the weight back and then straighten the legs. Nice. So beautiful. Last round of breath. This time, let's walk the feet forward to the hands so we can come to the top of the mat. Find Uttanasana as we're in our forward fold. Ardha Uttanasana, inhale halfway. And exhale to fold. Inhale, circle the arms to rise all the way up as we lift our gaze. Exhale, hands to heart, and let's pause for just a moment. Grounding down through the feet. Feeling every bit underneath the foot, underneath each toe, connecting to the earth. Dropping shoulders away from ears. Good. Nice. Let's inhale, circle the arms, lift and reach up. And exhale to fold. And inhale halfway. And exhale, plant those hands. Okay, right leg goes back. And drop that right knee. Inhale up for our low lunge. Yeah. Good. So we'll do this in our high lunge as well. We'll just take a little bit of extra time to get into these hips here. Good. So deep inhale. Full and complete exhale. So right away, Jen has this muscle memory in her body, lining that knee up right over her ankle on the front, sinking the hips, but still lifting through the heart, right? Not this big, huge sway in the back bend, but kind of pulling in through the belly. One more round of breath. And exhale, let's fold the hands down to the mat. Tuck the right toes, lift the knee, left leg goes back. Good. Down dog, hips back and up. Good. Good. Let's inhale and lift the right leg off the mat. And exhale, knee to nose. Let's come forward and squeeze. Beautiful. Twice more. Inhale, back and up. Knee to nose. Last one. And then we'll sweep that foot through to the front of the mat. Good. And lower down the back knee. And then let's find that low lunge. Good. So once again, opposite side of the body, but front knee stacked over front ankle. We use the joints stacking in alignment to support our body so that the muscles, even though they're engaged, can elongate at the same time. That's the idea, at least. Beautiful. 2 more rounds of breath. Let's exhale and fold those hands to the earth. Tucking back toes, lifting the knee as you're ready. Let's keep that right leg lifted. So down dog splits. Right leg will go back and up. Good. And then 3 times, let's even it out. Knee to nose. 3 times. Yeah. Nice. And that's it. Last time. Knee to nose. Yes. Right leg goes back next to the left. Down dog to high plank on an inhale, shifting far forward. Exhale down to the earth. And so we'll start to take our flow. Inhale into a back bend that feels appropriate for your body at this time. Good. And then create a transition with your breath into downward facing dog. Nice. Good. Just 3 rounds of breath. If you are ready or looking for a break, a little bit of a child's pose, let the head hang heavy if you're in down dog. Maybe even open the mouth for that last exhale. Yeah, we'll come up onto the toes, look forward, travel feet to hands to the top of the mat. Yeah, taking our time, Ardha Uttanasana, inhaling halfway. Exhale to fold. Good. Circle the arms. Let's come into chair pose. Arms circle and then knees bent. Uttasana. Yeah, so take a moment and notice if feet side by side feels the best for you today, if ankles underneath hips is where it's at. Give yourself these first few rounds of breath to examine yourself inside this posture. All right, no judgment, just checking it out. Beautiful. We'll keep knees side by side and squeezing as we take one more inhale. Exhale, let's twist to the left. Right arm forward, left arm back. Yes. Beautiful. So knees stayed side by side as best friends. It's always nice to give them a little peek. Yeah. One more round of breath. Let's untwist to center. And let's fold on an exhale in between our sides. Yeah, we'll take a few rounds of breath in our Uttanasana forward fold. Beautiful breath. So as we're ready, we'll find a halfway lift on an inhale. Fold on the exhale. It's like cueing our body. And then inhale up as we circle the arms, and exhale, we bend the knees into chair pose. Shifting the weight to the heels so we feel that the toes are nice and light. Shoulders roll back and down, as you can see, automatically happening. And no big sway in the low back. It's just nice and long here, right? If there's this big kind of curve here, we tuck the pelvis and round under. Good. One more round of breath, and then we'll open that twist to the right as you're ready. Keeping knees side by side. Nice. Yeah, so an extension of energy through the arms and the fingertips here. You can see reaching in both directions, staying in that chair pose. We just have one more round of breath. We'll untwist into a forward fold. Beautiful. So nice. Good. Halfway up. And exhale, plant the hands, step it back, down dog first. So let's get those hips back and all the way up. Stretch out that chair pose. Good. So before we move on from here, we'll just come into the shoulders, the triceps a little bit here. So we're going to move into Ashtangasana, knees, chest, chin. So as you're ready, coming into plank, taking an inhale and then lowering knees to the mat. You can float the toes if you'd like. Bend the elbows in line with the body. Only lower that chin. Yeah, so hips stay high. Knees, chest, chin. Yes. Yep. Nope, you're good. Yeah, just keeping hips here and low. Yes, that's it. It's like one of those tricep burners. So see right away, Jen's elbows are in line with the body. We just have one more round of breath, and then we're just going to snake it forward into our Bhujangasana. Right, so just come down with the hips and the belly. Come into that back bend. Yeah, or up dog. Beautiful. Let's transition downward facing dog. Perfect time for a child's pose. We can always lower the knees to the mat and just stretch it out as we slow the breath down. Staying a little bit more active, creating and keeping a little bit more heat, and we stay here in our downward facing dog. All right, as you're ready, up onto the toes, inhale, bend the knees deeply, travel top of the mat, feet to hands. And let's inhale just halfway. And exhale to fold. All right, half splits. The right leg is going to go back. Keep the hands connected to the mat, and let's just hover that leg. Yeah, yes. Yep, just like that. That's perfect. Yes. Coming light onto the hands, and then we're going to make a transition. Have a bend in that left knee. Yeah, bring the hands to heart center. Let's bring it up towards a warrior 3, and then bring that knee forward. You got it. Sweep it through to stork pose as we come up. Good. Yes, beautiful. So knee bent at hip height or leg straightened. We just have one more round of breath, and then we're going to unwind that. Good. So now the right leg will go all the way to the back of the mat. Connect to those toes. Keep the knee lifted. Good. And we'll come up to our high lunge. Beautiful. So our first time here, nice and high, we're going to take some movement. So an inhale, arms are already up. We'll touch palms and straighten this front leg. So inhale high. Exhale, cactus arms, bend into that front knee. So sink deep. Yeah. So let's inhale, come all the way up. Lengthen towards the sky, straighten the leg. Exhale, bend. crescent lunge. Twice more. One more. Exhale. And last time. Good. All right, let's roll into a warrior two. Back heel comes down, hips start to open towards the right. So give your body a moment. We haven't done more than those circular bent knee rotations, right? So just kind of notice how the hips are feeling, if they're ready to open. Front knee over front ankle towards that pinky side edge of the foot. Good. And we'll take some movement here as well. Inhale to reverse warrior. And exhale back to center. So one breath, one movement. Inhale, reach forward. Let's come into, yes, and exhale. Let's come into side angle. How about, yes. Good. And then let's reverse on an inhale. Straighten the front leg, reverse triangle. Okay, warrior two. Hands to heart center. Let's come into Skandasana. Your back right foot sink down into that one-legged lunge. Beautiful. So we're just going to stay here for a round of breath. Lengthen that leg. And then we're going to twist upper body over that right knee, plant the hands, and spin on your mat. So you'll be facing the back of your mat. Beautiful. So we're going to come right where we started, but for the other side of the body. So take your weight into your hands and your right foot and lift that left leg. Standing splits. Yes. Good. Couple rounds of breath. Beautiful. Yeah, playing around with balance and obviously with length and lift, as Jen has here. This is not available to all of us. All right, getting ready to transition. Come light on the fingertips, hand to heart. We're going to come through to stork pose. So bend into that right knee. And if you fall out, you come back in. I think that's what it's all about. And we come into our stork pose for a round of breath and to realign the body. And when you're ready, let's unwind. That leg goes back kind of quickly through a warrior three, and then lower down those toes. Back of the mat, crescent lunge, arms circle to reach up. Beautiful. Good. A round of breath here before we move. We'll do the same love we did on the other side. So we'll inhale, straighten the right leg, and arms are up. Exhale, bend the knee, cactus the arms. Really open. Good. Inhale, up and lengthen. So beautiful. Exhale, cactus, and open. Twice more. Oh, nice. Last one before we make a transition into that warrior two. As you're ready, rolling heel down, hips open. Yeah, perfect. Warrior two, hips open to the opposite side here. Nice. So nice. So automatically front knee over front ankle. We'll take some movement as the lower body is now stabilized. We'll inhale to reverse warrior, staying in the lunge, stretching, reaching side body, more than a back bend, side body stretch. Coming back through to warrior two. Inhale, lean forward for side angle, and then stretch and sweep left arm up and over. So nice. Now inhale, circle arm, straighten front leg, reverse triangle. Beautiful. Warrior two, hands to heart center. Skandasana, that single leg stretch squat at the front of your mat. Nope, you were right. Yeah. That's it. A round of breath as we just settle. And then we twist the torso over that left knee, plant the hands, spin into that lunge. Beautiful. Left leg back to meet the right. Let's take a flow. Coming in and through, maybe a chaturanga, maybe a variation of, maybe it's time to skip it. As I mentioned at the beginning, more of an advanced yogi practitioner here, right? Practices multiple times a week. So for Jen, her body is used to moving through these asanas, and her breath is right there accompanying her as she moves. All right, big toes side by side. Right leg to lift, take a deep inhale. And exhale, right knee, right elbow. We'll come forward and pause for a round of breath. Just one in and out. Beautiful. Over to the left arm. One round of breath, we pause. Backing up. And sweep it through. Knee towards nose, foot comes forward. Inhale up, crescent lunge. Exhale, warrior two, back heel touches the earth. Inhale to reverse. And exhale, warrior two. Inhale, lean forward for side angle. Rotate. So nice. This nice long line of energy. Inhale, reverse triangle. So straighten that front leg, bump the left hip back. Beautiful. And rotate it down all the way to the mat. Right leg comes back and all the way up. Let's bend the knee to open the hip. If it feels like an appropriate time for your body to flip your dog and come into wild thing, finding the earth there. Yeah. So imagining a side plank through Jen's left side body. She's got this big back bend, but beautifully grounding the ball of that right foot to the earth. It's our last breath. And then let's come over. Good. And I'll leave it to you to take a flow, ekapada or not. You could skip it. Good. So keeping that leg floating up. It's our ekapada through the chaturanga. We come down and Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Well, let's take a few rounds of breath. And again, for you, if it would feel the best to come down to the knees or just to have a seat, and for you as well, we can certainly do that, right? I'll take another round of breath. Okay, let's explore other side. Left leg to lift on an inhale, and exhale, knee to left arm. Pause for a round of breath, and backing up to the right arm, we'll twist. Beautiful. Backing up and sweeping the foot through on the exhale all the way to the front of the mat. We rise into crescent lunge. So all toes point forward, and exhale, rolling the heel down, warrior two. With the breath, inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, lengthen back to warrior two. Inhale, lean forward for side angle, and exhale, rotate right arm. Beautiful. Inhale, reverse Trikonasana. Yes. Nice. Let's cartwheel, hands down. Left leg goes back and up. Taking that wild thing on this side as we carefully, with the breath, begin that rotation through the hip, and then it stretches up through front all the way to top body. Beautiful. Light on those back toes, engaging through that side plank, and last round of breath, we roll over. Beautiful. Ekapada on this side as we roll through chaturanga down to the earth into a beautiful back bend, taking our time. Down dog. And then lowering knees wide on the mat, big toes to touch. Wide knee child's pose, hips come to heels. And we take a moment just to connect to the breath and the heartbeat here. Nice. A couple more slow, deep rounds of breath. Exhales out of the mouth. Good. And then let's come up to just fingertips. Keep those shoulders nice and warm here. So floating the arms, yes. Good. And then walking those fingertips forward as long as we can through those arms. Oh. Feeling the backside body expand through the ribs, the intercostal muscles as we breathe in deeply. Okay, good. Then we're going to stay. Jen said that feels so good. It's nice, especially after the body has had, 25, 30 minutes or so to get warm. Couple more rounds of breath. Such a beautiful posture. It's like this gorgeous prayer position with the earth. I will be putting my daughter back to sleep in the middle of the night, and I'll be doing child's pose on the floor of her room because it just feels good. It grounds you almost immediately. All right, as we feel ready, we'll lift back through a tabletop. Hands and knees, getting the hands to stack underneath the shoulders. Good. So back to our tabletop where we began, and since we're nice and warm, we'll use those knees side by side here. Lift that right leg back as you're ready. Let's bend the knee so the bottom of the foot comes towards the sky. Yeah, and then left arm forward as you sweep the hand back for the foot. So we'll come into a nice stretch. And sometimes you'll find this at the beginning of practice, and I always feel like it's a little too early at that point. Good. So Jen can reach her foot with ease. So bend into this elbow just a little bit. Yes. Good. Another deep, deep round of breath. And then let's release that leg to come back. Yeah. Good. Take a cat cow or two in between sides. I always like to give the body a chance to kind of reset before we ask it to do something, for the other side. And as we're ready, then we'll explore that left side. Yeah, so left wrist under left shoulder as support there. Beautiful. Last round of breath, kicking foot back into hand. We release, coming down. Nice. All right, so we'll keep toes untucked here, just as Jen is. And after we stretch that out, let's just pick those knees up off the mat. So just float the knees in a floating tabletop. Good. Just taking a few rounds of breath here. So automatically, Jen has cat through the upper back here where she's engaging through the scapulas, gazes down, the navel's pulling in towards the spine. We'll take one more inhale to lift the hips all the way up, roll over those toes, and exhale, down dog, out of the mouth. Deep, deep exhale. It's really lifting the tailbone up and towards the sky. Even if we are, extra bendy, flexy, it's really nice to find those little micro adjustments where we get just a little bit more, perhaps. All right. Big toes side by side as we're ready to move. We'll inhale that right leg back and up. And exhale, knee to left arm and sweep that leg through. Good. Roll your back heel down. Yes. All right. So as we come into Fallen Star here, we stretch side body, front body, keeping those legs engaged. Last round of breath. Let's roll down that left hand, float that right leg up and off the mat, pull it through. Good. Flip it over, find that wild thing again so we can stretch out opposite sides of the body. Right? Working systematically here as it works together. And let's come over. High plank on our inhale, low plank on our exhale. Inhale for a back bend, any back bend. And create that transition to down dog with the breath in no hurry. Nice. Add another round of breath or two. And let's come forward to a plank on an inhale. Lower those knees, untuck the toes. We're going to do the same thing for the other side body. Side of the body. When you're ready, hovering those knees, floating tabletop. Yes. Good. Two more rounds of breath. We begin to lift the hips up and back as we transition. We'll roll over those toes. If that's not comfortable for you, you just flip. Yeah, beautiful. Left leg to lift on an inhale. And exhale towards that right arm. Sweep that leg through. Yes. And we lengthen and open and stay inside this beautiful posture for one more round of breath. Yeah, so let's roll that right hand down on an exhale and sweep that left leg through and up. So our counter stretch, right? Let's flip it over. Yes. Nice. One more deep inhale. You got it. It's beautiful. We'll come over to our high plank. Transition to our low plank. We'll be done with these planks soon. Beautiful. Down dog. All right, let's transition up onto the toes. We'll travel forward to the top of the mat as we bend our knees. Inhaling just halfway and exhale out of the mouth, fold and release. Yes. All right, let's be here for two more rounds of breath. Yeah, and I like coming into a chair pose from a forward fold because automatically I find that more depth comes really easily. So as you're ready, we'll just inhale to circle the arms, bend the knees at the same time. Uttanasana. Yeah. So we started with our extended chair twist, And this time we'll go next level. So as we're ready, we'll bring the hands to heart center and prepare for our prayer twist to the right. Yes. Yeah, beautiful. So gaze can be off to the right, gaze can be down for more balance. If this were a transition pose and we were going to step this left foot back, our gaze would be down, but we'll just stay here for one more round of breath. And then we'll untwist to center and inhale, rise, straighten the legs, circle the arms. Let's exhale in cactus, open the chest, broaden through the collarbone. Good. Inhale, arms circle and reach up. And hands to heart, chair pose. Let's come down, bend the knees, get ready to explore the other prayer twist. Good. So not being in a hurry, even if we know where we are going next, giving the body time to follow the breath. Even in a flow, right? Knees in one line, beautiful. Weight in the heels. And that twist is engaged through upper body. And again, gaze to the left, gaze down. Last round of breath. Let's untwist. Inhale, rise, circle the arms. Exhale, cactus, shift the hips forward. Inhale, lift up. And exhale, fold. Good. Halfway on an inhale. And exhale, step it back. High plank. Good. Let's pause in our high plank, big toes side by side. We'll get them nice and close. Good. Let's roll to the right side for our side plank. Beautiful. We'll use this a little bit of a transition. So today, if we feel like we're up for it, floating this left leg and then reaching for the big toe with those fingers. And yes, and bringing that foot forward into our lunge. So bending the knee, yes, beautiful. You got it. Inhale all the way up, crescent lunge. And exhale, warrior two. Slowly inhale to reverse, still inside the breath. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, forward for side angle. Beautiful. And then let's reverse triangle as we circle the arms. Good. So we're going to pause here. Let's come into triangle. So we'll lengthen the arms. Yeah. Yep, you can extend this. This is perfect for triangle. So you might want to scooch. When we come into revolved triangle, it helps to have a shorter distance. It's oftentimes one we don't do very often either. So you might find that as we move through to revolve, you'll need to move that back foot in. All right, so as you're ready, upper body's going to twist to the left. Yep, we're going to revolve. I know, so weird, right? You're going to have to hop this foot way in. Yes. So straighten the front. So let's straighten the front leg. Bump your right hip back. Good. Just circle the arms. So we're going to twist. Yeah. Take just a moment. Yes. One more deep round of breath. Good. So let's untwist, just circle the arms. Yeah, warrior two. Good. And rotate down with the hands as we cartwheel to the mat. Good. Left leg goes back and let's lift it up towards the sky. Beautiful. Deep round of breath here. Shifting forward to our high plank and lowering to our low plank. No, I think I'm calling it wrong. It's revolved. But it is, it's challenging. I remember someone was coming to take pictures of one of the yoga studios I worked in. She goes, okay, get into revolve triangle. And I was like, okay, why don't you show me what that's all about? Yes. All right. Another round of breath. Let's inhale onto the toes and travel to the top of the mat. Nice transition to come to the top of the mat. Take the weight off of the hands and the wrists. Inhale halfway, Ardha Uttanasana, and exhale to fold. Let's inhale, circle to rise. Beautiful. Exhale, cactus. Open the front body. Inhaling up. Yeah, and exhaling to fold as you're ready. Good. Halfway. plant the hands. Let's walk those feet back all the way to a down dog from here. Good. Thanks. And left leg to lift on an inhale. Let's sweep it through. Good. We'll pause here for a moment, still working on the same side. So inhaling up to crescent lunge. Yes. Good. And let's hop the back foot in, just a nice hop so we can come into a juicy pyramid pose. So when you're ready, straightening the front leg and folding. Yeah, and much like triangle, it's nice to kind of decrease the angle. Pyramid is the same way. It's going to feel a lot better. Beautiful. Hips, we work towards level here. So you can see the right hip is in line with the left. You may not be coming down and touching your left leg, right? But we just head in that direction and allow the head to release and hang heavy. 2 more rounds of breath. This should feel good. If it's not quite there, right? Make an adjustment in your body until it is. Yeah, and let's come out of pyramid pose. Bend into that left knee. Beautiful. Warrior one. So we're already here. Pyramid and warrior one, they work really well together because our hips stay squared to the front of the mat. We're not opening as in a warrior two or. All right, last deep, complete round of breath. And then we'll fold down to the mat. All right, step that foot back. Let's lower the knees. And instead of a flow, let's take a child's pose back of the mat. And then we will explore, same thing, other side body, and move on from there. The eyes just naturally close in child's pose. And the breath and the body soften. Let's release the tongue from the roof of the mouth and let the jaw soften and separate. All right, and as we're ready to explore the other side, we'll make a transition up through a tabletop. Come back and find that downward facing dog. All right, so that right leg will lift up and off the mat. On an inhale, we'll sweep that foot through. On the exhale, we'll inhale to rise, crescent lunge. We'll bring it up. And exhale, warrior two, hips open, back heel grounds. Nice. Inhale to reverse, circling just upper body. And exhale, back through a warrior two, side angle. We inhale for length. Exhale to reach. So nice. Long line of energy. Inhale, reverse triangle. Beautiful. And then we'll come into our triangle, just extending our arms and hopping that back foot in. Maybe it works as you are. Maybe you want a little bit more distance. So it's this rotation of the arms, right, which engages the twist of the upper body. So just find this rotation. Yes. Beautiful. Yeah, and spinning toes to point forward as much as we might need. Yeah, last round of breath. And then we uncartwheel those arms back around. Warrior two, inhale. And exhale down to the mat. Good, right leg goes back and all the way up. Head hangs heavy. 3-leg down dog. Yeah. Good. One more round of breath. Good. Grounding that right foot with the left here. So both feet down. Good. Inhale forward to that plank. And exhale to lower. And a back bend. Nice and juicy. Nice. And then downward facing dog. Good. So as we're ready, that right leg will lift again and we'll sweep that foot through, coming forward into that crescent lunge for just a moment as we lift upper body, but then hopping that back foot in to find that pyramid pose on this side. So taking a moment to re-square the hips forward and then straightening and lengthening that front leg as ready. Sometimes I come in and I think, oh, this is where my back foot is, but really, yeah, I always give it another hop in and then it just feels better. A couple more rounds of breath here. What's nice about Pyramid before Warrior One is that we are lengthening everything that we're about to use and engage. So as you're ready to make that transition to a Warrior One, lifting upper body and bending into that right knee over right ankle. Beautiful. And hips squared to the front. Nice. And again, if you come into this posture and the heel is not connected to the earth, it's another beautiful time to just hop that back foot in. It doesn't matter, right? The length. We're just looking to stack front knee over front ankle. Last round of breath, and the back heel to stay connected. All right, let's float down, hands to the earth on an exhale. Good. Step that foot all the way back to our last downward facing dog. Mm-hmm. All right, so just notice what would feel the best here for your body. Would it be dolphin? Would it be to hang out in this down dog? Would you like a couple rounds of breath somewhere else? Just last inversion here for our practice today. Good. So we're going to travel the feet up to the hands at the top of the mat. And we'll come into an arm balance for crow pose. So we haven't done too much squatting here today. Only a couple chair pose, and mostly for those twists. So only when you're ready, and if you're ready, you'll notice getting into proper alignment. So Jen places her hands down directly underneath her shoulders to get those knees on the triceps, and then moves the gaze far forward, way more forward than down. Beautiful. And then maybe one foot lifts or maybe both, right? So nice. Stay for one more round of breath. Then you think that you can, but come out with control as we lower one foot and then the other. Amazing. Good. All right. Let's come down into that squat just as you are. Take a couple rounds of breath. Good. And just because we're here just for fun, how about some side crows? Just one on each side. All right. So we did that prayer twist for in our chair pose. So it kind of gets us ready for our side crow. So bending into that right elbow to hook on that front hip. You got it. And that serves as a shelf here to lift those legs. Wow, that is so high. So great. Gaze is down and forward. Yes. And take a moment as you come back down before you explore the other side. Very nice. Yeah, side crow is one that doesn't show up too often in class, I feel like. I don't know. So, yeah. Yeah, well, exactly. Yes. So both knees in one line and then that gaze forward. Really feeling the elbow on that hip is going to help. Yes. And then this is all core muscle that she's lifting her legs that high. Last round of breath. And then let's just come out slowly and easily. Beautiful. Yeah. So turn on the mat, whichever direction you want to face, middle of the mat. Wherever, however, whichever, it's completely up to you. Just the middle of the mat, and we'll face one end or the other. Yeah, we'll come into a boat pose, Navasana, when you're ready, just for a couple rounds of breath. So any variation of a boat pose. Yeah. Beautiful. So what makes boat feel the best for me is closing my eyes because I'm like, oh, here we go again. We're in a boat pose, right? Just kind of notice what's there, feel the shakes and the quivers, and just work towards embracing it, and just take an extra moment, kind of pushing through, just push past that point of where we want to kind of give up and give in. Beautiful. So I'm going to let you decide. Once you're there, slowly lower the feet to the mat. Yes. Yep, roll upper body down. Beautiful. Let's take a full body stretch and really lengthen out. Lots of hip flexor work on the boat pose there. Really stretch. So we'll get into those hips just a little bit too. Good. Nice. And then bend the knees, plant the feet as you're ready for a bridge pose. We will start lifting hips with arms by our sides. Yeah. Good. Another great time to have eyes closed as the chin is towards the chest. And then we roll the shoulder heads out and down, press down with the triceps, elbows, forearms, all the way to the fingers. Imagine the arms as the foundation for their bridge. Yeah, beautiful. Last round of breath. Knees squeeze together. Exhale, we lower all the way down. Good. And keep arms by our side. Float the legs up and overhead towards the sky. Good. We give the legs a nice little inversion, legs up the imaginary wall here for a couple rounds of breath. Good. And then let's practice pressing the arms firmly into the mat and lowering both legs to the mat nice and slow. So we get the arms really ready for our next bridge pose. Beautiful. And when those legs touch, we'll bend the knees, bring those feet in. Good. And then if you'd like on this second one to interlace fingers underneath the ear back and use that bind to help lift the hips a little higher, go for it. And it might not work for your shoulders. That might be a little too much to bind underneath. So kind of notice what's there for you. Beautiful. Chin is in towards chest. Good. 2 more rounds of breath. With the bind, we almost automatically press down. We engage to use the arms a little bit more. Nice. And let's release, separating the hands and arms. Good. Floating the legs up above us once more. Good. Let's hang on to that right leg and float the left leg down to hover right off the mat, just an inch or two. Yes. Giving a nice stretch for the hamstring, keeping the core engaged here to hover that leg. Yeah. And whether you hold on to the knee, the thigh, the ankle, or, the toes, it doesn't matter. What matters is what you feel. Yeah, last round of breath. Good. And then let's float that right leg down to meet the left. Good. And down to the mat. Good. So we'll bend those knees, walk those feet in one more time. So we'll take another variation of a bridge pose. Arms will go up and overhead. So when you lift your hips, inhale, arms up. Beautiful. Good. So we'll press the opposite end of the arms down, which feels very different. All right, so we're pressing the top of the arms, the top of the hands down, but still lifting those hips really high. Last deep round of breath, finding just a little bit more height. That's it. And exhaling, hips down, arms circle down by our sides, legs go up. Inhale. Let's keep that left leg, float the right to hover. Yes. Beautiful. 2 more rounds of breath, really lengthening, letting the breath wash over the back side of that left leg. Good. And then releasing so both legs can fall down towards the mat. And let's inhale the arms up and overhead. Yay for the exhale. Good. One more deep inhale to lengthen. And then float legs up off the mat, head and arms up off the mat, and squeeze in. Yes. Good. So we'll transition into a happy baby before we twist here. So any variation of Anda Balasana when you are ready. You might reach for knees, ankles, toes, the edges of the feet. You may like to rock side to side or just kind of hang out still. So once again, the chin is towards the chest, and this is an opportunity to stretch the entire length of those spinal muscles. So with the eyes closed, imagine that you can get your tailbone to touch the mat, and you find that curvature in the lower back, and reach towards the earth. And then we release the jaw, start to soften. And 2 more. Let's release by bringing those knees into the chest. And get ready for our spinal twist. So let's just let that left leg fall to the earth. Hold on to that right knee and open it out to the right first. So left arm can go long if you like. It's nice to stretch the inside of the hip as well as the outside. We tend to focus more out here on the outside. Nice to kind of get into both. Okay. And then as you're ready, we'll just twist that right knee over towards the left and just settle our body in to our spinal twist. So yeah, so take a few rounds of breath here to kind of wiggle that shoulder underneath, to allow the body to soften into whatever arrangement it would like to feel really good here. The last few deep rounds of breath, maybe opening the mouth for the exhales, just noticing if a little bit more softness can come into the body. Beautiful. So as we get ready to untwist, we'll first bring the head to center to protect that cervical spine. Yeah, and then float that knee back in towards the chest. Bring that left knee in as well. Let's rock side to side. And again, pause here, giving the body some, at least a few moments, maybe some time before we twist the other way. And just let it happen organically. The body knows where to go and what it would appreciate most, right? We just follow the body here, follow the breath, follow the body. Opening and breathing into that hip before we close the hip and move our stretch to the outside. Beautiful. So transitioning in and allowing the body to soften. I'm noticing if this side is a little bit different. Knowing that that's always okay. Our body is not a mirror image of itself, right side and left side. Softening the jaw. Let's let some exhales go out of the mouth. Nice. A couple more. Untwist just that head first to center, and then the knee back into the chest. The right knee comes in as well. Good. And as we hug those knees in, your body may just automatically move in a way that would feel good for it. You know, kind of just checking in, Jen, with your own body. Would a plow pose feel amazing to stretch the backside body? Would, just legs up the wall? Are you good where you're at? Yeah, some more twisting, whatever it is. Taking a good, another, I'd say about minute or so before we'll make one more transition for the body and then come into our final posture of Shavasana. So taking our time here for twisting, making sure that we're just as patient on the second side as we are with the first. Nice. Nice. Good. And then as we're going to get ready for our Shavasana, just to make it feel nice and juicy, let's come into that full body stretch. So arms overhead, legs outstretched. Good. So from here, let's lift just the arms and the chin to chest as the head floats. And then maybe lift one leg or both. Yes. Okay. And we'll just stay for a round of breath. You're perfect. However, yeah. Good. Now just transition legs up towards the sky, head and upper body down. Yes. So we'll just unwind and reverse that. So the body's really ready to soften into Shavasana. So as you're ready, those legs will lower down towards the earth and we'll pause just before we touch, staying in the breath. If the head needs to float chin to chest, it's a counterbalance, but it also protects the lower back. And then when we're ready to lower down and exhale, we will allow the body to come to the earth and find our Shavasana. If we're happy on our back, let's stay here. If you'd like to be on your side or your belly, you certainly can do that. Allowing the body some transition time as we come into this final posture. Letting a blanket of gravity come onto the body as you are held to the earth. And just a moment of acknowledgement that there's nothing left to do. You don't even have to try to breathe. The body will do it all for you. You can just be next few minutes.
The power of love is here now. The power of now is here now. The power of you, me, is here to create magic on earth. The power of love is here now. The power of now is here now. The power of you, me, is here to create magic on earth. Power of love is here now. Power of now is here now. Power of you, me, is here to create magic on earth. Power of love is here now. Power of now is here now. Power of you, me, is here to create magic on earth. Let the water wash away your tears. Let the fire burn away your fears. Let the wind blow into your life such faith and trust. Oh, let the earth hold you, take care of you, and nurture you. Oh, the power of love is here now. The power of now is here now. The power of you, me, is here to create magic on earth. The power of love is here now. The power of now is here now. The power of you, me, is here to create magic on earth. Power of love is here now. Power of now is here now. Power of you, me, is here to create magic on earth. Power of love is here now. Power of now is here now. Power of you, me.
Drawing a deep inhale into the body to fill the lungs. Let the belly rise. Exhale out of the mouth. Twice more deep and complete cleansing breaths as if we really are releasing with each exhale, just as much as we are receiving with each inhale. We wiggle the fingers, we wiggle our toes, we take some small, gentle movements to help us reawaken for the second time today. Maybe let the head roll right and left. Let's take a full body stretch if that would feel amazing. Allowing some traction and some length to come in, and then knees to the chest as we're ready. Rocking side to side, taking our time. Eyes remain closed as we roll over to the right side, body in fetal pose. This posture signifies a rebirth or a reawakening. And as we come to the rest of our day, imagining that we can bring our yoga with us into our world, into our day. And as you're ready, just come up to an easy seated pose. All right, sitting long and tall through the spine. So nice to wake up from Shavasana. It's also nice to stay in Shavasana. Let's inhale, circle the arms all the way up, palms touch overhead only when the lungs are all the way full. Exhale, hands down the center line, stopping in front of the heart. As we come into Anjali Mudra, take a moment to press the thumbs into the chest. Pause the breath here to feel the heartbeat. And then let the breath flow so we connect to our prana in your own beautiful energy. And as we connect through the heart space here, we take a moment in gratitude to ourselves for giving and receiving this gift of self-love. Yoga is truly incredible that way. And we give to and of ourselves through our practice. But make no mistake, our practice touches everyone in our lives and all around us. So in acknowledgement and in gratitude of yourself for showing up today, for diving in. And then we take that same appreciation and gratitude and we share it with each other and with you for joining us today, for allowing us to be a part of your journey. I connect to your beautiful spirit far beyond this physical world. And I humbly bow to you. Namaste. Wonderful job, as always. Oh my goodness. Well, that is really a treat for you guys to get to see and maybe practice along with Jen. Once again, she has years of practice, right? So, if you kind of watch her and you're like, whoa, just know that there are asanas that you can work towards, and the postures or the asanas are not the main and the end goal of yoga, right? We really do try to live our yoga off of our mat. And it is nice to come to our mat and look as beautiful as you do, right? That's like a byproduct. It really is a side effect of our practice, but it's beautiful nonetheless. So we'll take it. Again, absolutely. Yes. And thank you guys for joining us. Please check out my YouTube page and come back as often as you'd like. And we will be live next Monday with another Spiritual Physique